The last time our show aired, we were cutting back the tops on our asparagus planting. We told you about how when we removed those, it would allow the sunlight to get down there to the ground and cause those plants to start growing. Well, there's another technique you could employ to get your asparagus spears to come out of the ground even quicker, and all you need to do it is some fresh green compost and some sort of cylinder or bottomless container, like maybe a bottomless 5-gallon bucket or a wooden keg without a bottom, or maybe even a whiskey barrel that's had the bottom knocked out of it. Well, we're going to use these old rusty tubs that have had the bottom rusted out of those. You may recognize these from last year. We grew our potatoes in these tubs in our vegetable garden. If you remember, we just set the tub on the ground, we took the piece of seed potato, put it right on the surface of the soil, and then we just kept adding compost as those stems grew till we had a tub full of compost, and later on we had a tub full of potatoes. Worked very well. Well, they haven't completely rusted away, so we're going to use them again to try to heat up our asparagus. Well, right here you can see where we've cut off all the stems a little bit earlier. We're just going to place this tub over that portion of ground there. And then we're going to take the green compost and I'm going to start adding it to the outside of the tub. Now, this is definitely green compost. You can see all that green material in there. And it's not aged compost like we used with our potatoes last year. And we're not going to put it inside the tub because, again, we want that soil inside here to get the benefit of all that sunlight, heating that up. And we also don't want the green compost to come into contact with any of the emerging spears, because we could get some burning of those spears. I'm just going to keep adding this to the outside of the tub, and you can see I'm piling it up pretty thick there, at least about 8 to 10 inches. And of course, when the microorganisms work on all this to break down that organic matter, they generate a lot of heat, and we're attempting to harvest that energy that the microbes are generating and use that heat to heat up the ground around this tub and hopefully get those spears to start coming out of the ground a little bit sooner. On another note, the asparagus spears, as they start coming out of the ground from your clumps, will generally start to decline if you have a planting that's about 15 years old or older. And if this is something that's happening in your garden, you might think about replanting your asparagus with some fresh, new, vigorous crowns. And just in general, asparagus plantings will start to decline after about 12 to 15 years. So if you want to stay well stocked in asparagus, plow up your old 15-year-old or older asparagus fields if they're not producing like they ought to be. And if you just can't wait, you want to get those asparagus spears as soon as possible, you might try adding some fresh green compost around the site.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. You can also find more recent videos on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.